whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
Hello, and thank you for joining us on this very special holiday week. It's been, honestly, a fabulous weekend. I know all of you, I think I saw somebody in the comments mention the Niners' amazing win. We will touch on that as well. I had a great weekend, which I'll get to in just a minute. But unfortunately, my good friend Kim McAllister, she had an unwelcome visitor come to her house this weekend, unfortunately.
I'll just tell you the 3-year-long streak at this house for being COVID-free has come to a nasty close.
I'm so sorry, friend. I am so sorry. That sucks.
Julia woke up Friday morning not feeling so well, and then bam. Friday night decided to test her.
Right.
And the test was like, usually it takes a few minutes for a COVID test to run its course. Well, right away, like within seconds, positive, big old red stripe. And we thought, well, maybe the test is expired. We had one of those tests where that had been its life had been extended. So we're like, get another one out of the box. Same thing. Damn it.
Yeah.
She's got COVID. So she's now quarantining in her room. None of us have had it yet.
I know, that's amazing. That's amazing.
I just got vaccinated a month ago. So did my husband. So we're hoping that maybe that prevents, but we don't know. So anyway.
Yeah, just stay optimistic. And she's okay though. Like it's just like a cold. She's not,
So
seriously
far for her, it seems like it. So this would be what, day 4 for her? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, she should be on the back end of this hopefully she'll feel 100% for Thanksgiving. So, my heart goes out to your family though, because that's a good stretch. You know what I mean? Like to get through a global pandemic 3 years later, and then it's your first.
You know what? We tried so hard.
Yeah.
We really tried hard during COVID. Remember we went to Disneyland and Dr. Peter Chin Hong said, be COVID street smart.
Yep.
We were masking, we were spritzing, we were sanitizing, we were like staying out of the crowds. We tried so hard.
Yeah.
And then I think the kids go back to school, life goes back to normal.
Oh God, yes. You can't be
and
that
it's
strict
like,
all the time.
I don't know how we could have prevented this unless we're the only family that makes our kid wear a mask to school.
And again, I think that if you have a cold or you've been exposed, then wearing a mask is it's good manners, right? It's like washing your hands, covering your mouth. Again, I know that masks have become so politicized that people are like, oh my God, but it's just common courtesy, man.
Exactly.
Like we should just get over that. But I'm sorry. What a terrible way to start the holiday week, right? I mean,
we're
that kind of
having
sucks.
groceries and medicine
Everything
and stuff delivered right now because we don't want to go to the store and put people at risk.
That's great.
If there was no choice, we would have to wear a mask. But there's only one boy at Julia's school who's like a junior or a senior, and he wears a mask every day because he lives with his elderly grandmother.
Yeah.
So he's trying, he tell people say, why do you wear a mask? And he says, because I live with my grandma. She's old and I'm trying to protect her. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't respect that?
How can you argue with that? Exactly. Right. And the truth is also, if I had a major vacation coming up, right, and I did not want to get sick, I would do something like that. And if you ask me, I'll explain. I just hate it when people get all, on their high horse. Why are you wearing a mask? Why are you asking me like that? Like, why not just act like a human being and be like, oh, hey, are you sick? Or is someone in your, like, why not be empathetic? So, yeah, but I'm empathetic for you. I mean, what a week, though. They're off all week. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in the show, about the whole fact. The reason I wanted to bring it up is because we had this whole long discussion yesterday. We were watching the Niner game about, like, I don't remember, and I'm almost positive because my parents were there, I asked, having the whole week off of school. It was like maybe a half day on Wednesday and then definitely Thursday, Friday. And now it's the full week. And I saw somebody before the show, I don't know if it was Lori or one of you, saying, teachers need it off. And I will 110% agree with you. But I don't remember it being the entire week, because especially in high school, like finals are coming up and all of these different things. And I read this article and they're like, oh, so kids are going to have more time to study during break. Really? Is that what they're going to be doing? They're not traveling to grandma and grandpa's house. They're not, you know what I mean? Like maybe if you're really struggling or you have to get that A or something, but I think most kids are just enjoying their time off. And so we'll discuss that. I do have something special, though. I wanted to start off. I know it's not Friday, okay? But I am going to start off the show with a little bit of food, okay? My friend, it is not the crumb cake, okay? It is not. But I will say this. It is a distant but a very good second. So one of the only things, I only eat really two things from Starbucks if I'm going to get food from Starbucks. The ham and cheese croissant and the cheese Danish. Okay, those are the only like two things that I particularly like. The coffee cake my son gets, and sometimes I'll take a bite of it.
I like the coffee cake and the lemon loaf.
He likes the lemon loaf too. You and Dylan will be like pals.
And the cookies and cream cake pop. Let me tell you.
I don't like cake pops at all. They're too sweet. Too sweet.
Like it's just so little. It's like a 2-bite kind of thing.
Right.
And so like if I don't know, sometimes I'll just buy one to give a treat to somebody in the house. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm on Instagram and all of a sudden this guy's video pops up and he's like 5-ingredient recipe that will replace your Starbucks cheese Danish. And I watched this video no less than 20 times. It's like a 10-second video. And I'm like, I could do that. I can do that. Okay, so you ready? So I'm going to give you the recipe. Ready?
Okay.
Take half of an 8-ounce block of cream cheese, which is the normal size. So half of that, and add 2 tablespoons of sugar. That's all the sugar that's in it. 2 tablespoons. It's not a lot, but whatever. Then you add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and that's it. It's 5 ingredients, this whole thing. Okay. You blend it together. So it looks like that. I did this last night. You blend it together. Then you get your puff pastry. I will say the hardest part of this recipe is waiting for the puff pastry to defrost, but not too much because it'll start breaking apart if it's too and get sticky. So that's it. I divided it into 6 things. You put a little rectangle with a knife in the middle. And I'm not quite sure why I have to do that, but
it looks like you make your own. It looks like Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. So that's it. It's just I cut it into those rectangles and then I took a knife and I made those little smaller rectangles on the inside. Okay. I put my mixture in the middle. This was also kind of difficult. Maybe if it was warmer, it'd be easier to spread. But anyways, it doesn't matter. It's gonna melt anyway. So you put it in the middle. You do a little bit of an egg wash. And then are you ready? This is the video. I mean, I'm a chef.
Wow, that looks great.
So I am telling you right now, like, here it is. I mean, tell me, that is not restaurant quality Danish right there.
That looks good.
It was.
That looks good.
This is my second one. I obviously had one last night. No.
Yeah, is it good? Still good the second day?
I put it in an airtight container. They're so good. And I will tell you, it's not too sweet. That's what I don't like. Like, I don't want something too sweet in the morning. But just a hint of that the cream cheese with the sugar and the vanilla. I mean, this recipe, and I'm sharing this with you guys because 5 ingredients. And the puff pastry really, you should have, I mean, cream cheese, I guess, if you don't carry cream cheese in your house regularly. But it is so freaking easy to make. So again, 5 ingredients: cream cheese, sugar, salt, vanilla extract, and puff pastry. Make it. If you make it, let me know. Send a picture.
Imagine if you had house guests for breakfast.
I know. Right? That's what I'm saying.
And
it's
then
so easy.
They're like, oh, Danishes? Where'd you get these? And then you're like, I made them. And then you
feel
all like, woohoo.
I'm never, Starbucks has lost my business for cheese Danishes. I mean, that is hands down just exactly what I need. I don't need to spend the money at Starbucks. I can make it myself. Now, I have this puff pastry like theme going on for this Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving, I'm going to make an appetizer. It's puff pastry. Again, I swear, Instagram is giving me all my recipes. You take puff pastry. You have 2 different size circles, like one like that, like a bigger one, and then one that's just a little bit smaller, okay? You cut out a hole in the puff pastry with the big one, and then you put the smaller one inside and make a smaller one. Around the edge, because it creates a little edge, put egg wash and everything except the bagel seasoning. Then you bake it. That's it, just bake it. And then it puffs up, and then you push down the center, and you pipe in cream cheese with chives, a dollop of red pepper jelly, and if you want, you can kind of razzle dazzle it with some green onion. Done. Appetizer bite. Done for your Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I love, if anybody has any favorite recipes, I will share them on here. You can email me at the Nikki Medoro Show at gmail.com. That's the email address. But yeah, I'm loving all things food for this Thanksgiving, because that's what, being around family, Thanksgiving, everything like that. There was this news report I was listening to this morning. I think it was on KTVU about the last minute things that people buy at the grocery store for Thanksgiving. The number one thing is whipped cream. I don't know how you forget the whipped cream, but you do. Pumpkin pie, elbow pasta, pie crusts, evaporated milk. What do you use evaporated milk for? Like, I don't know.
Baking?
Is it baking? I've never had to use evaporated milk for anything. Frozen pies, vanilla extract, which is popular, apple pie, canned pineapple, and condensed milk. Some other things: disposable servingware, aluminum foil, utensils. Did we talk about this? Yeah, we talked about this on Friday about how I don't use paper plates because it's the only time I use the china. So we're not doing that. Food thermometer, plates, chargers, a cheesecloth. Cheesecloth is something that you can, squeeze out all your stuff, maybe mashed potatoes and everything if you're making them, or hash browns or something. But yeah, make sure you go grocery shopping today. I went yesterday and the grocery store wasn't that bad. Couldn't find my red pepper jelly though. I'm gonna have to go somewhere else for it. But
I see Dylan behind you, cute little face popping up behind you.
Everyone sees you, Dylan. Can you say hi? Yeah, the kids are home all week long. So yeah, he passed out on the couch last night. I love these kids. They stay up, sleep wherever they want to. I'm like, you should go back to bed, because I'd be in bed if I was a kid right now. What else happened this weekend? Oh, you know where I went for the first time this weekend?
Ooh,
I don't know if you saw my social media post. James's birthday is tomorrow, so we celebrated this past weekend. My husband. And we went to House of Prime Rib in San Francisco.
Oh,
for
yeah.
The very first time. Have you ever been there?
Oh yeah, it's a big place for my family to celebrate. We'll go there once every few years for some event.
It was okay. So my children are making fun of me because, stop. Okay, my son is laughing behind me. At least I'm going to be honest. Okay, so as a mother, you try your best to instill manners in children, right? And so we go to the restaurant, and my son is obsessed with the bread. Okay, and all I keep seeing is these glasses of water and soda around, and he's like cutting across. You know what I mean? And I'm like, Dylan, move the cups. Like, just I know I was being annoying. Okay, I'm like, stop. Use your manners. Just say please, and just all the things that moms do that are annoying, right? Yes. Okay, so now they're gonna laugh at me because I'm all about the manners. And I'll tell you this: House of Prime Rib is a very loud restaurant. It is not quiet. There was so many people in there. It was quite loud. Everything is delicious, but they finally put down the prime rib in front of us. And what did I do?
Did it come on a little cart around?
Oh yeah. I mean, the carts come in, they cut it off. They're putting the plates in front of it. I got the English cut, which is the thin slice, same amount of meat, but thinly sliced, which I never had before, and I will always have it that way. So what did I do, Dylan? Come closer to the microphone. What did I do when they put the plate in front of me?
She screamed and went, woo!
I was so excited. I'm like, woo! And then the kids would not stop giving me crap about it. They're like, oh, we have to have all these manners, but you can just yell in the middle of the restaurant. Now,
like it's a 49ers game.
Oh, God, yeah. I was so excited. And I'm like, woo! And it's become the joke of the weekend because I would not stop being so excited.
That's funny.
Lived up to its reputation. And I don't care that I'm doing an ad for them. The meat was nothing I put in my mouth was bad. It was delicious, from the salad that they made tableside to my cocktail. So you guys know that I don't usually like regular Moscow mules because they're too much ginger and lime in them.
Mhm.
I got a vodka soda to start with, and then I got one of their Moscow mules. It was perfect. It was not too much of anything. It was so good. The cream spinach was bomb. I don't even like cream corn, and their cream corn was good. Yeah, and then the steak was on point. All the kids completely, they got the full meal.
I forget what it's called, but they have a, speaking of puff pastry, they have like a
Yorkshire pudding.
Yorkshire pudding. Did you get
Yes,
that?
that was
Yeah.
good too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Anyways, it was so good. The kids only ate their meat, but it was really delicious. So if you ever go or ever thinking of going, and you know what's funny, because of APEC, they seem to have had a lot of during the week reservations that are open, because it's hard to get a reservation there necessarily. But there was, and I also learned that if you're trying to go to House of Prime Rib and there's only 2 of you, it's much harder to get a reservation 4 and up, and all these other dates open up. So that's the trick. If you go on open table, House of Prime Rib, not that you should lie about it, but get a bigger party to go, because then more dates will open up for you. So it was absolutely delicious. Happy birthday to my hubby. And then afterwards, we walked around San Francisco. Fabulous producer Dylan, you've been newly appointed. There you go. So we walked around San Francisco. The gates for APEC were still up, because this is by Union Square, of course. And so we walked through, and we were going to go ice skating in Union Square. Tip, you need to set up a reservation, which I was not aware of.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
I mean, I guess just busy times, like you could buy tickets, and then if it's raining or anything happens, you can kind of get replacement tickets for it. So we walk up after dinner, and it's just packed with people. And Calvin, you are so sweet.
That is the nicest.
5150 for your next family meal in the South Bay. Yeah,
because it's a little bit crazy over at the Medoro house.
There you go, Dylan. There you go. I got a nugget under my feet. I got my son behind my shoulder. It definitely is holiday.
That's really nice.
Thank you, Calvin. That is just really sweet. We go to Union Square. It's packed. They're like, no, you can't. The next opening is at 8. And I was like, well, it's 6:30 right now. We're not going to wait till 8. And I was like, well, we're by the Metreon. Let's go. I've never been to the movies in San Francisco, because why would I go to the movies in San Francisco? So we went to the Metreon, saw the new Hunger Games in the IMAX theater. Okay. I thought it was really, really good. That it was scary. I will say this though. I found it to be a little cheesy in aspects of it. Like, just, I don't know, some of the dialogue. Marley could not get enough of the actor that plays President Snow as a kid, right? Like, could not. She's just like drooling over that guy. Rachel Ziegler, I guess, who's also the new Snow White. Remember they're redoing Snow White?
Oh yeah.
She was pretty good. She has a great voice, but again, I don't know. I liked it. I was totally enthralled. It's over 2 hours, and I wasn't bored. So there's that.
Does she have to sing in the Hunger Games?
Yeah, there's a lot of singing in the Hunger Games.
Really?
She's a musician. She's like one of those kind of musicians. And so, yeah, there's like one song. I mean, not a lot of singing, but there's some songs. It was really, really good. But again,
I mean, is it Hunger Games the musical? No?
Yeah, exactly. But do you know what? Speaking of musicals, you know what? They're coming out with another one that I did not know of?
What?
Mean Girls, the musical. Did you know about that?
Yeah.
You know the Mean Girls?
Yeah, that's been around for a while.
Really? I just saw the preview when I was watching Hunger Games, and I was like, why are they redoing it again? I thought the original was fine, but they're redoing it, and there's a lot of singing in this one apparently. So there you go. Dylan, if you knock down my wall, I don't know what's going on behind me. Hold on. Hey, please be careful. Do not knock down my wall, please.
That'll be fun if that happens.
I know. At least my house is clean. My house is clean.
It'd be kind of exciting, actually. Go ahead.
Are you ready?
Go ahead, Dylan. Shake it up a little bit.
There you go. No, thank you. Okay, let's do some headlines, and then let's get into the holidays and this holiday week. And what did you guys experience when you were in school? Was this an entire week off? And do we need to really be mindful of how much time kids are getting off? Now, you will never have to convince me that teachers need time off. I completely agree. But let's focus on students. Do you think that students need the entire week off for Thanksgiving? Also, given the fact that the winter break /Christmas / whatever is just a few weeks away. All right. Click a thumbs up button to show your support for the show. It helps us out. The super chat is live. Calvin, you are amazing. A 5150. I'm nuts. For the donation to the show. Thank you so much for the next family meal in the South Bay. Calvin, you are so very generous. Please consider becoming a Medorable, the NikkiMedoroShow.com, the NikkiMedoroShow.com. We do take PayPal as well. And the email address, if you go to paypal.com, is the NikkiMedoroShow@gmail.com. We have merch up. My favorite thing still is up there. I added some more things over the weekend, which are awesome. My bidet is on there. I was like, what else can I put on there that I support? My bidet. If you want to, give the gift of a clean butt, that's a gift you can give your family. I do have an update, and I'll get into it after Kim's news. Actually, I'll just do it right now. The buttons, my experiment of mailing the button, it worked / didn't work. Uh-oh. So I mailed it. I thought I put enough stamps on it because I put like 3 forever stamps. I've got to look it up. Have you ever had the mailman come to you and say you owe me money?
I have, actually. Usually they leave a sticker on the mailbox and say, yeah, I had to put one of my own stamps on this one.
I was home and he's like, I had to give him $5 more.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. And I was like, because again, I try to make it like a letter and it's not a letter, it's a package. And he's like, you owe me $5. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, I was like, do I give it to you? Do you have change? Because I didn't know what happened, or I didn't know what I had in my wallet. And he's like, yeah, you can give it to me, or you can go to the post office. And I'm holding the letter that says like, $5 on it, right? I was like, okay, I'll go to the post office. He's like, well, I have to take that back if you don't have money. Like he was going to take it back from me.
Why?
And I was like, because I had to pay. And if he's going to like just trust me, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, hold on. I was like, let me just go and see what I had. And I had a $5 bill. So I gave it to him. So the buttons can be on the way. Ricky, I know you gave me more money. I'm thinking $20 is going to cover it for as much as I already put on it. So if you want a $20 Medorable button, which I don't have here because
oh my God, $20 for a button?
Well, that's including shipping.
It's because the shipping.
Yeah, it's because of the shipping, and it's bigger, and it's a light up button. It's not like a little pin. It's a light up button. But if you want one, you can. If not, I'll hold on to the ones that I have, and that's what it's going to have to be. I mean, that's what it basically came out to. I'm not making any money off these buttons. Basically, it's the cost of the button and the shipping. So if you want one, that's what
crazy.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the cheapest package that you have. So if I could find it cheaper, I would. And then maybe we'll just keep them if because I understand that that's a lot for a button. So I could just keep them. And then maybe when we meet up in person, whoever shows up, you'll get a button or something fun like that. So we have things planned for the new year. So don't worry about it. The buttons aren't going anywhere because I do know that shipping a package that's just a button is a bit expensive.
They are cool labels, though. I mean, cool buttons. I will say that.
Cool. They do light up. You know what I mean? But it is lame. Anyways. All right. Let's do some headlines and we'll talk holiday break next.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Let us begin with these two fellows because there's a new poll showing Donald Trump continues to slightly lead President Joe Biden in the race for the White House. The Harvard Capps Harris poll shows Trump with 48% support among respondents compared to Biden's 41%. 48 to 41%. How could it even be? 11% of respondents say they were unsure who to vote for. Trump gaining 2 percentage points since a similar survey conducted in October. Recent polls have shown Trump outperforming Biden in a handful of critical battleground states. Early yet, but what is happening in the world? You're muted, my friend.
I'm chewing.
Oh, I saw your mouth moving. I thought you were starting to trying to talk to me. Never mind. Chew away. We'll carry on.
I was chewing my Danish. I didn't want you to hear me chewing. And thank you, Chris. It's President Biden's birthday today. Happy birthday.
Happy 81st birthday, Joe Biden. Yeah,
they are not leading with that. They're like, yeah, let's just ignore the president's birthday.
Of course, former First Lady Rosalynn Carter has died, the wife of the nation's 39th president. Carter Center announcing she passed away Sunday afternoon at the age of 96 at her home in Plains, Georgia. She married Jimmy Carter in 1946. They were married for 77 years. She had just gone into hospice care and just been diagnosed with dementia as well. And yes, so now Rosalynn Carter has passed at the age of 96.
I wanted to talk about this, and maybe we'll go back to it in a bit of the show because there's a nice video of what she's done and championing mental health and things like that. But the thing that kept, the thing that first, and I apologize if this is morbid, okay? I really do. And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but I really do feel like Jimmy Carter is going to pass away very quickly because, think of 77 years. 77 years you've been married to somebody, right? You go into hospice first, they follow you, and then they pass so quickly. I just feel like from a broken heart and just they're supposed to be together. And I mean this as respectfully as I can. They've lived a very long life together, especially. I would not be surprised. And I'm not like betting and wishing harm on anybody, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy Carter passes away this week. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
A federal appeals court in Washington is hearing oral arguments today. That's a new one. Oral arguments today about whether a gag order issued against Donald Trump should be lifted or not. A 3-judge federal panel is considering how to balance the former president's free speech rights while protecting witnesses, prosecutors, and court personnel from intimidation. This trial judge overseeing Trump's 2020 election subversion case issued the gag order last month after Trump unleashed a barrage of verbal attacks against special counsel Jack Smith.
Yeah, this whole thing, well, we'll see with this case. And then the whole Colorado thing. Did you see the Colorado thing?
Yeah, so I don't know how you can say the judge in this case ruled that Trump was responsible for stirring up the insurrection.
Yeah, he
on January
participated
6th,
in an insurrection. Yes.
and then didn't do anything about it.
No.
Basically said you're guilty but had no teeth. So for now, I guess Trump stays on the Colorado ballot.
Yeah, and the thing is I was reading an article, I think it was in The Hill, and they were saying this is going to make it difficult for Trump to kind of criticize anything that came from the Colorado judge because, one, she kept him on the ballot, but then did say very clearly, yes, he participated in an insurrection. So does it help him? Does it hurt him? Doesn't matter either way because he's on the freaking ballot. So
she looked at the wording of the clause in the 14th Amendment and looked at it and said it doesn't say president.
Well, yeah, she says she doesn't know about the whole federal officer. And then you know what else she was trying to, and again, I don't agree with her at all. She says that that the president's oath is kind of to defend the Constitution, but not support it. And I'm like, are you friggin' kidding me right now? Like, this is like the way, again, people are just bending in pretzels to make it so this guy can still run for president, even though it's not even my opinion. The guy has disqualified himself. He participated in an insurrection. How the hell does someone like that get to even try to run this country again? It is insane.
It says no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president or vice president or hold any office or civil or military under the United States. Okay, any office, civil or military, under the United States or any state who has previously taken the oath as a member of Congress or an officer of the United States, the oath of office. So right. I guess because it says elector of president or vice president, not, who would be what that would be someone who participates in the election process, not necessarily the person who is president or vice president. That's why she thought it didn't matter.
I feel like, again, what should be done seems obvious, and yet we still try to find all of these reasons to allow him to continue to be in the game. And it's just, it's not necessary. She could have just said, no, he participated in the insurrection and that's it. That's it. He doesn't get to be on the ballot. Like, he shouldn't have done what he did. That's it. But no, we have to make it all friggin' difficult. Stupid.
There is a new push for this. No labels, not left, not right, forward. The nonprofit group actively working to field a third-party ticket for president in 2024 has doubled its annual revenue last year. The No Labels organization is working to gain ballot access in all 50 states next year for a third-party presidential candidate. No Labels is not required to publicly disclose the names of its donors, but reports reveal that about 80% of the group's total revenue came from at least 68 individual donors who each gave the group $100,000 or more.
What do you think about this? I mean, again, I think that when you ask most people, they want dark money out of politics. They want to know, right? They want to know where it comes from.
That's right.
Stupid.
Yeah. I think it should be transparent.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we heard last week Snoop Dogg had given up the weed.
The weed.
The weed.
Not smoking
Snoop
the
Dogg
weeds.
is not quitting marijuana after all.
I was thinking, I was like, what?
Snoop's like, nah, you guys got it wrong. The rapper, known for his love of cannabis, posted a video today announcing his partnership with Solo Stove. It's a smokeless fire pit brand. This comes after Snoop posted late last week he was giving up smoke and asked his fans to respect his privacy.
That's funny.
So yeah, again, it is Solo Stove, a smokeless fire pit brand. So it was a gimmick. It was a little,
Yeah.
a little Snoop joke there.
I like this. I want to get a fire pit for the backyard. And I've actually looked at those Solo ones. So now I wonder if the price will go up or go down. I'm assuming it's going to go up with the collaboration. I don't know, but yeah, that's quite clever to get Snoop Dogg, the no smoke salesman, for the fire pit. That's a good idea.
I wonder how much they paid him to say
a lot.
I'm giving up smoking.
They paid him all in weed. I don't think so. No, the guy, honestly, Snoop Dogg is a very smart businessman.
Yeah,
like
he
just is.
Yeah.
You can't say he's not. So when you say if you smoke weed, it'll ruin your life. Well, maybe not. So.
Speaking of COVID, Americans can order more free COVID-19 tests from the government. COVIDtests.gov is offering those who already ordered their 4 free tests from the website earlier this fall another 4 tests. Those who haven't ordered any tests since the website relaunched in September can order 8. The Department of Health and Human Services said a total of 58 million free tests have shipped since September. Insurance companies are no longer required to cover COVID tests after the public health emergency officially ended last spring.
Right.
So, got to get those free tests. Yep. I'll take away my Snoop. From jiggly Jello molds to green bean casseroles, the TSA is dishing on which Thanksgiving foods can fly with you this holiday.
Interesting.
People try to bring the green bean casserole.
Yeah, I have flown with sausage. we had to get ice coolers because when we went back east, there's this sausage. You'll see it oftentimes in Italian movies because you go to an Italian deli to get it, a chevallade. My parents obviously turned us onto it as kids, and it's the sausage that's kind of in a circle. I don't know, and it's stuffed with cheese. It's really freaking good. Well, when I went there years and years ago with my mom, we packed it in ice in these coolers, and then we had to ship it. So it's not uncommon to bring food, but what can I and what can't I bring?
While most foods can be carried through airport checkpoints, some need to be checked into baggage. TSA officials say if it's a solid item like baked goods, meats, stuffing, or casseroles, it can go through a checkpoint.
Okay.
If you can spill it, spread it, spray it, pump it, or pour it, and it's larger than 3.4 ounces, then it should go into a checked bag. That means pack the cranberry sauce, the gravy, the apple cider in the checked luggage.
Oh, that's interesting. I would think, I guess it'd be sealed, but I don't want you throwing my bag.
Get where you're going. Why do you need to? I don't understand.
Well, in my case, it's difficult to get the chevallade out here, right? So you can't get it. So that's why we brought it home. And I would assume that's what it is for most people. I want this specific thing. And then think about people coming from out of the country, right? I mean, there could be cultural dishes where you have to have the ingredients from that particular place to be able to make whatever you want to make for the holiday. That's just my guess.
But they don't celebrate Thanksgiving other places, right?
Well, it doesn't mean that if they're coming out to visit family that they don't want to make something special, right? I don't know. I don't know. You're right.
Okay, listen to this story. This is wild as you can get.
Okay.
A man who won the $1.35 billion Mega Millions jackpot is now suing his ex-girlfriend for telling his family members about the lottery win.
He's like, damn it, woman. But I mean,
it was a secret.
Notice? I mean, you won more than $1 billion. I think your family's going to see some hints.
The Maine resident who anonymously claimed the jackpot earlier this year filed a lawsuit claiming that his ex-girlfriend, who is also the mother of his child, breached an agreement that they had to keep the win confidential. The lawsuit says his ex signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, but ended up telling his father and stepmother about the jackpot win. Dude, you signed an NDA and then you went and blabbed. Nope, nope, nope. The man is asking her to name every person she told and pay a $100,000 fine for every NDA violation.
Well,
Gotcha.
I mean, if she signed the NDA, then he has a case. But how easy would it be for you to keep a secret like that?
She's a big mouth.
I think it would be very difficult.
If you signed an NDA.
No, yeah. If you signed an NDA, you're a moron. But let's say you didn't sign an NDA, but somebody just asks you, can you just not tell anybody? How hard would it be? I think it'd be I still would, I think, do it. But it would be hard. It's like, oh my God.
If I tell the person, okay, I won't tell anyone, then
you're not going to tell
I'm going to keep that, that I take that
You wouldn't even
seriously.
tell David? What if it was like your best friend?
Well, then I would tell the person, listen, I know you don't want me to tell anyone, but I feel like I need to share it with my husband, or I feel like I need to share it with whomever. Talk to the person about whether it's okay. And honestly, it's their secret to tell, not mine.
Yeah, that's true. But again, how can you keep it a secret? I mean, how long until somebody realizes that you want more than $1 billion? Like all of a sudden you're just buying houses. You've moved. You've gone on these amazing vacations. Someone is going to ask the one question. Well, where did you get all this money?
Yes. But what if he has a very distant relationship between his father and stepmother? Yeah. And what if they're not over at his house all the time? Or what if they, maybe they correspond via phone, but they don't, they're not at each other's places all the time. I don't know. I mean, it could be that he just didn't feel it was any of their business, and so then no.
Well, they're obviously coming with their hands out. I mean, I think that's what you're trying to avoid, is just everybody coming with their hands out. And this would be like what I would hope when the lottery gods bless me, right? Mm-hmm. Is I want to surprise my family with gifts, but I don't want them to know where it came from. Like maybe he had this whole dream of how he was going to spoil his family or friends or people he cared about, but he didn't want them to know where it came from. And they would just be like, oh my God, I got this happened or that happened or something, that's what I would love to do. It's just all of a sudden somebody opens their mortgage bill and it's zero, right?
You're so nice.
Something like that.
So
that'd be so much fun.
You're so lovely. My thought was, and listen to how greedy this is. He won $1.35 billion, right? What if he came from a wealthy family and he didn't want to be cut out of the will? Because what if his parents would have been like, oh, well, you don't need that. Then we're going to leave all of our property to charity or whatever it is. And he didn't want them to know because he didn't want to be cut out of the will.
But he doesn't need it.
No, he doesn't. But what if he's still greedy? Guts.
Then that's why you got what you got, right? I mean, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I highly doubt if I won whatever billion, I'm looking at my in-laws being like, I'm still in your will though, right? I mean, I still want X, Y, No.
You're right, Ricky O'Bear. That is a stretch. But I'm just saying, what if? I went the opposite way of Nikki. Nikki's like, oh, what if he wants to give everyone a present? I think
he just doesn't want people's hands out. Now, that could be, in a good sense or a bad sense. But for me, I would just want to spoil people. And at least for as long as possible, make them think like, oh my God, this amazing thing happened. I don't know where this money came from or I've been really needing this bill paid or something. And just to be able to sit back secretively and be that kind of guardian angel for someone, like that would be so cool to do. Yeah. I don't know how long you could do it without people being like, you seem to be really happy, or like you seem to be really flush lately. It's like, there you go.
Things are going pretty well down at the office. Exactly. Calvin says, new mansion and Ferrari. Of course you're not rich. Exactly. Still, says Vicky, it was the lottery winner's business. Absolutely. Right? It was their secret to tell.
And she signed an NDA. If you sign a legal document and then break that contract, you're a moron. You can't do that. You can't do that.
How trustworthy are you?
Exactly. And they broke up too, which is like, how do you break up?
But that's the mother of his child, And that she knew about it, I don't know. What a violation of trust, honestly.
Yeah, but look how quickly his life has changed. He won more than $1 billion and he's suing the mother of his children. Like, this is the lottery curse that people also talk about, more money, more problems. So
Jammer DC says, you'd be surprised at how people who have money want more money. Look at Trump and his family.
That's true. That is very true. And, rich people, but
Maud says it's never enough.
It's never. Yeah. You don't want to be greedy, though. I mean, come on. You won more than $1 billion. Is that not enough for you? Is it just not enough? I can't imagine. And do we know how old he is?
I don't think it says how old he is.
I'm just saying, come on. How long are you going to live, right? Come on. You don't need that much money. I'm just being negative about it. Just share it.
Yeah, it is. It's never enough. I don't know, though. What a mess. What an absolute mess.
What a mess, indeed.
And I want to say that I feel bad for him, but I kind of really don't feel bad for him.
He'll be fine.
He's gonna be okay.
$100,000 for every person she told. God, I wonder how many people she told. Right?
I wonder how much he gave her. Does he have to? Now she has to give it all back. Yeah, it doesn't say how old he is, because remember when he claimed the money.
He did it anonymously, right?
He did it anonymously. The agreement reportedly barred the ex-wife from revealing her ex's identity until 2032 in exchange for support and ongoing security resources.
Interesting. Oh, because she's the mother of his children, and the child could get kidnapped for ransom.
Right. That's right.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
He says his ex was the only other person that knew about his win because of the situation with the child. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
Instead of keeping quiet, she told the man's dad and stepmom that he won. She told them over the phone in September.
Wow.
They then passed that information along to other third parties, including the man's sister.
I wonder if there's some people that she needs to tell if she's accepting this amount of money. I mean, I can understand that aspect, but just randos of the family finding out, no, that's not right.
Well, I mean, once the parents are told, all bets are off. I don't know about your mom. My mom would be on the phone like, guess what?
Oh, God. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, when I was trying out, remember I told you I got like a hair close to being on Deal or No Deal? We're leaving the place. And I hope my mother's listening. We're leaving now it's at this like, I don't know, some convention hall type of thing. Cause they were doing a bunch of different people doing these tryouts, right? As we're leaving and they say, I've gone through basically the last thing is like, if we call you, you're on the list of being called, but I never got called. Mm-hmm. They're like, but we don't want you telling anybody. The minute my mother is out of the door, she's on the phone with somebody. And I was so mad. I was like, Mom, how could you do this? Like, people are listening. Like there were people that were involved in the whole thing. I was so upset. I mean, I'm not saying that's why they didn't call, but yeah, my mom, I highly doubt she'd be able to keep the secret. Sorry, Mom. I love you. I don't know if I signed an NDA, I would keep it. But if it was just like, don't tell anybody, I would definitely have to tell my husband. I would be honest about it, though. I'm like, look, this is a huge secret. I'm so happy for you. You've won $1 billion. I'm just going to be honest. James is going to know. Like, it's just not possible for me to hold this in. I got to tell somebody. And I kind of feel like if you give somebody one person, you know what I mean? Like, just, okay, you have to scratch that itch, but don't tell everybody. And James will go to his grave with secrets. He is so good.
Oh, that's
like,
good.
Yeah, they told me not to tell anybody, so I didn't tell anybody. I'm like, you're supposed to tell me. It's like in the vows. Like, everybody knows you're supposed to tell the spouse.
You should have put that in the vows and tell me all secrets, even if you said you wouldn't.
All secrets. Everyone expects you to tell your wife. Like, that's just a written rule, unwritten rule.
This guy formed an LLC called Lacoma Island Investments to shield his identity. I mean, he really went. He thought about it before he came through the ticket. He formed a company. He formed, he really wanted to shield himself. He wasn't messing around.
Yeah.
1.3 billion. You don't want your identity known. No. You don't want your kid kidnapped, right? You don't, all these security issues. You really have to be careful. Mm-hmm. I agree. I don't.
I'd be mad too.
I mean, on the surface, it looks like really you're suing your ex-wife for $100,000 for every violation.
Yep.
But honestly, because she
you
signed
put my
an NDA.
Life in danger. You put our child's life in danger.
That's right.
You created
no wonder
this
he
whole
divorced
problem.
her. She's a giant dumbass. That's right.
No wonder you got divorced, dumbass. Yeah.
This report is crowdfunded, which means we rely on you for support. Thank you so much to Calvin Wong for the lovely contribution to the show. If you would like to do the same, you can find us not only here with the super stickers and super chats, but ongoing support at the NikkiMedoroShow.com. The NikkiMedoroShow.com lets us keep doing the show and know that every month there's something coming our way.
Yeah.
The NikkiMedoroShow.com is where you find the Patreon and the PayPal link. And happy Thanksgiving to you all. We love you. Even if you're just spending time with us, we're grateful to have you here for the ride.
Thank you, Kim.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into a little bit more of these holiday stories as we get closer. And a reminder, programming note, that we won't be live on Thursday and Friday, but there will be new content right at 9 o'clock. So you're happy to being here right at 9 o'clock. We'll have something new for you on those days. But heavy traffic is expected all over the country where they don't live in the gorgeous Bay Area. I was listening to Steve Paulson on KTVU this morning, and I was cracking up. I don't know if you guys watch KTVU in the morning, but Steve Paulson is their weather guy.
Yeah.
His delivery, and I don't know why. I think I was just feeling silly because I could not stop giggling about it. Where when we don't get rain, he sounds extremely disappointed in the weather system. Like, it's just going to break up. And it's just like, I'm sorry, Steve, the weather system. So I tweeted at him. I was just cracking up, and he's like, that's actually funny, Nikki. He's all like, it's something else to talk about than just sunshine, but that's why we live here, right, Kim? It's so we don't deal with what they're dealing in back east, for instance. A cross-country storm system is going to nail New York City starting tomorrow. It's expected the light rain will turn into 2 to 3 inches that last until the Wednesday morning commute, just in time for the busiest and most expensive travel time of the year. So they're going to get delays. It's New York. I mean, there's a reason why my dad, they were over watching the Niner game yesterday. And my dad was talking to his friends back east, and just like, yeah, it's already like 40 degrees, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And so, yeah, it's nice to be out here. Yes, the weather system's going to break up. We have no rain in the forecast at all this year. I mean, Rod's like, Steve is slow and soft spoken. He is, but I think that he's so funny. I really do. He's just like, he's kind of snarky too, which I find to be just, I love it. So, but yeah, the system here in the Bay Area, it's going to be nice over Thanksgiving, which makes it perfect to do things for the Thanksgiving week off for kids. Now, let's get into it.
Unless your kid has COVID, in which case, no.
I know. Did your kids have anything planned? Did you guys have anything planned for this?
Well, we often either go to my dad's in Oregon for Thanksgiving or Disneyland.
Right.
And we couldn't afford Disneyland this time around. My dad, we got him sick last year.
Oh, no.
Mike, we went there, and then in the middle of the trip, my son got really sick, and then everybody got it. My dad got really sick.
Yeah.
And so this year he said, hey, let's skip the trip this year, the Thanksgiving trip, because he was so concerned about getting sick. He's older, and he got so sick last time that I think he was worried he wasn't going to make it. Right. And I am so thankful he did that, because we would have gone up there and he would have gotten COVID. So,
absolutely. So good. Yeah. So good. Well, a lot of people have, travel plans starting like last Friday or whatever. But let me play you a little bit of this report regarding should students have the entire week off, and does it make it problematic for you? And I mean, you as in parents out there who now have to figure out something to do with your kids.
I work overnight, so it's completely hard for me to get childcare.
For Jessica Bennett, working around her daughter's school schedule has always been a challenge, but with a week full of half days followed by another week off, right now it's even more difficult.
I usually ask my mom, but if that doesn't work, I have to call off of work.
Bennett isn't alone. I spoke with other parents who recall what it was like when they were kids, saying things are much different now.
She has always had the entire week off. But when I was in school, grade school, we only had that Thursday and Friday off. I've seen on Facebook a lot of parents are asking, what do I do for childcare? What camp is open during the week?
So do kids actually have more days off? It may seem that way, but according to San Diego Unify, while vacation days as well as the first and last days of school have changed, The changes to the school year do not impact the number of instructional days. Students continue to receive 180 instructional days. Those 180 days are part of the state's education code requirement. Regardless, it's still an issue for families who are often left scrambling for care.
That is a lot of time off that parents have to consider and, worry about getting covered for their kids.
Richard Beatty is a dad of two and president of Whole Child, a company that provides on-campus aftercare programs as well as holiday camps for kids. They adjust their offerings to mirror the district's yearly calendar, but they're limited based on space and staff.
There might be 100 parents at a school that want a program that they can send their kids to on half days, but there might only be enough space for 10 or 20 students.
Beatty hopes that will one day change. In the meantime, for Thanksgiving week, they're offering all-day camps Monday through Wednesday for about $100 a day. Another option, the YMCA, which also has camps next week, including at the Krause Family Skate Park in Claremont, where a 3-day camp costs $250 for non-Y members.
When we see that the schools are going to be out for more than a few days, we open our doors and give parents that opportunity to hey, let your kids come to the skate park and get rad and learn some new skills.
Outside camp, the skate park also offers memberships for those who want to come and go as they please. Those start at $30 a month.
So, there you go. There's obviously camps that kids can go to, but that costs a pretty penny. that one at school, $100 a day. You're talking about families that have to go to work, and I don't know how many of them can afford something like that. Now, when my kids were younger, I would look at those winter break camps or something like that. Now, thankfully I get to work from home with this. And my kids are older. You know what I mean? Like my daughter is babysitting age. So, for a few hours she can stay home and do all that. But if I had like a kindergartner, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to obviously either stay home or pay these astronomical prices for it. I just don't remember getting this much time off, but the 180 days stays the same. I think it's just how they lump them together.
How they spread it out. When I signed my kids up for the community theater summer camp, it's a month-long camp, and it's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So that's a good chunk of the day, right? Yeah. But still, your work day, if you had to go somewhere for work, you still then have to pay for childcare afterward.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But from 9 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon, it is $650 per kid, I think.
For the week?
Actually, it might be a little more than that. I think, no, for the month.
Oh, it's a month. Okay, I was like,
so that's pretty good, right? But when you have two kids, you're paying like $1,500 almost.
That's insane. I'm already looking at some summer camps. Like I've told my daughter, I'm like, I want you to look for stuff that you want to do. But it seems, I don't know, it seems harder now to find something for kids. Like before, I could just send my kids to these camps that do all sorts of things, arts and sports and things like that. Now, they got opinions and stuff. So it's like, they're like, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then you got to get in there early. Like now is the time, maybe even like a month ago is the time to start looking at these camps and start booking them. Because they'll fill up.
They fill up. It's true. And then you feel like, and then the one they want is full. And then you feel bad. Oh, my friends are doing this one and I can't do this one. It's sad.
My kids, their friends have like eclectic interests. So it's not, I don't seem to get stuck in that aspect. But then it's like the one camp that I want conflicts with the vacation we're taking or something, right? It's like nothing seems to pan out. But my heart does go out to these parents who, either need to take time off or pay out the butt to do something with their kids this week. Ren says the issue is really that as a society, we need to be sure kids are safe and taken care of, but teachers and schools cannot be expected to do it all. I agree. We as a society need to provide funding for kids. And I'll also say this, it's how we've set up our society in general, right? When we were talking about housing before, multi-generational housing, that would solve this issue, wouldn't it? Right? Grandparents live in the same house as you. You don't have to worry about who's watching the kids necessarily. Janet says, my coworker had a young kid. She got an email Saturday that the camp was canceled. So she was scrambling to find something last minute. Interesting. That sucks.
I don't know how applicable this is, but I was reading this article about a study that was done on a primitive tribe and childcare for this hunter-gatherer tribe. Okay. And researchers went there and they said they sat back and they watched in different intervals. And every time there's like a tribe of 80 people and they kind of live in the old ways, the hunter-gatherer ways. They're pretty remote. There are 18 kids from age 18 and under in this tribe, a lot of infants.
Mhm.
And they said they watched how long it took someone to respond to a baby crying.
Oh.
40% of the time it was the mother that responded. But more than half the time it was someone else, the father, a sibling, or another child in this tribe that would soothe the crying baby. And they said with their approach, it was definitely a village approach, right? So
Yes.
it was everyone takes responsibility for the kids among the tribe. Everyone takes responsibility for coming to their aid, their need, not just the mother. And how that way of child rearing is completely different, where it's not all put on one person. It's not all put
Yeah.
on the mother. It's just different the way they take care of things and the way they do it than the way we do it, right?
Yeah. It's just, it's one of those things where we want the village. I mean, I think that's why we
Mhm.
pay, the housing prices to live in certain neighborhoods, is because you're anticipating the community that you're going to form there. And yet I don't think that any of us necessarily say right off the bat, I trust my community to help me raise my kids. Right. So it's one of those things where, yeah, I would love it if we lived in a society where everyone was able to, one, make enough money where if you had to stay home, you could, right? Like, I wish there was that kind of flexibility. I wish we didn't live in this society where you have to do certain things or you're out on your ass, right? You can get fired or laid off or whatever. I wish people made enough money where like one person could stay home if they wanted to, but we don't live in that society, right? Well, yeah, there's the study. It's on thehill.com. Hunter-gatherer moms suggest Western childcare has a big problem. And it does. It does. It's like we expect parents to work like they don't have kids and parent like they have no job. You know what I mean? It's like, well, we can't do that. We can't be everywhere. And childcare is expensive. And it should be. I mean, right? Childcare workers, hard workers, taking care of a lot of kids. We don't want to cut corners, right? On childcare, because problems happen. But at the same time, it becomes so cost prohibitive that people are left up a creek.
And Chris is right about this one. Right now, my daughter is quarantined to her room, and my son is at the kitchen table doing homework from last week. But you're right.
For Thanksgiving break?
No,
Jesus.
he has homework he didn't do last week because he was sick.
Okay. Okay, that's different.
But Chris is right when he says now we have internet. We just let them play with the tablet. It's true because I'm working and my husband's working, right?
Yeah.
So how easy is it just to let them be on the iPad watching or doing whatever? And that's not good for them either. So
yeah, but I mean, come on. I feel like vacation. I remember when I was a kid, and yeah, it wasn't a tablet, but it was the TV, right? I'm going to binge watch Price is Right. I'm going to watch all the shows that I never get to watch when I'm at school at this time. I don't know if your kids do this, but sometimes, especially on break, they'll look at the clock and they'd be like, I'd be in this period right now. And I'd be doing this. You know what I mean? I don't mind letting my kids veg, but I told them, I was like, when I get off air after the end of the show, we're leaving. Like Dylan and I, he wasn't able to go to the gym, obviously, because he's at school. I'm like, we'll go to the gym together. And I was like, and then let's go to the park. It's going to be gorgeous. Let's get out of this house. Let's go somewhere. Let's go for a walk. Let's take Nugget for a walk. Let's walk to grandma's house. Something that gets you away from the screen, because it's so easy to let the hours pass by and then all of a sudden your break is over. I even remember as a kid knowing that my summer break was like passing me by if I was watching too much television. It's like, get up, get up, stop watching television and do all of those things. So
I've been going through a purge.
Ooh.
I'm now reclaiming my living room.
Okay.
And it is no longer going to be a playroom. All right.
Was it a playroom? Like
it was a playroom.
toys?
It's been a playroom for years. Toys, games, vehicles, like whatever is, music things, instruments. I'm now reclaiming my living room. That's it. All the toys go out. So we're reclaiming my time, reclaiming my room. So we have gone through all the games, all the little kid games. Out they go. They're gone.
Yes,
They're going.
you
I have a
have
big
to purge.
pile of stuff that has to go to the dump. And so that means that we've been looking at all the games we want to keep.
Yes.
Last night we played one of the games, and today we'll probably play another. So just being involved.
What are your favorite games? What games did you keep?
We like Clue.
Okay. I haven't played Clue in
We
forever.
like Operation.
Really? I liked it when I was younger. Operation now.
We
I don't
like
have
it a lot.
I don't
We
have it.
like my husband's really good at it. He can remove all of them without touching the side. It's uncanny.
Oh, okay.
We like well, my favorite game is Scrabble. No one will play with me, but I'm keeping that one. we we like Monopoly is a big one in this house.
Yeah, my son and my husband like to play that one. That one gets me just because I don't have the patience to sit there for hours on end and play that game. I just don't. I'm like, I'm
Monopoly?
done. I'm bored. Yeah. No, I don't like that one.
We played last night. We played a golf game, and but it's not really a golf game. It's a scary golf game. It's about zombie golf, bad zombie golf.
Oh, interesting.
And basically, it's a counting game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like question and answer games a lot. So for instance, would you rather type of questions, those games, I think it's called Zumambo or some weird name. And it just makes me laugh. It's like, would you rather have, hair coming out your eyeballs or hair coming off your tongue kind of thing?
Oh yeah. Would you rather?
Those sort of things. And then I told you guys about this one last year that I played at Christmas that my sister-in-law texted me about, and I was like, I bet you're going to play it at Thanksgiving. Right, left, center. It's the money game, right, with dice. Yeah, I love playing games. So maybe we'll go through. We have a lot of games. That O-Trio one that I was telling you about, Kim. It's
I just ordered it.
Oh, good. It's so much fun. It's like a tic-tac-toe
Do you
type
have the plastic version or the wooden version?
I have the wooden version. I guess the new version is plastic. I don't know if they sell the wooden version anymore. I got mine years ago.
The wooden version is $24 and the plastic version is $18.
I don't think I got the 18 one. It's the same freaking game. But yeah, it's really, really fun. You can play with 2 to 4 people, and it's just one of those. It's one of those games, O-Trio, that when you play it and you see it, it's just one of those where you're like, I missed it. I love those types of games. And so yeah, and the holidays are a great time for doing these sorts of things, right? So, Thanksgiving, we watch a lot of football and sit around and talk and stuff like that, but there's always time to play some games. Sinbad, Chris writes in, was our favorite board game growing up. It came from a German company. I've seen Monopoly get violent in the Marines. Wow. I've never heard of Sinbad. I don't know what that game is. Yeah, if you could describe it for me. Mancala Marley, when she was in the hospital for a long time last year, she's so good at that. Like, we went into the kids' teen area. They have a bunch of games, for all the kids that are stuck in the hospital. And she was kicking my butt at that. O-Trio, here. Here it is. O-Trio. There it is. It is so much fun. And it's really easy. And it's on my list of favorite things. So if you want to do it, you can buy it through my little site there. And it's so and it's tic-tac-toe, but it's multi-layered. So it's not hard to learn, but it can be hard to win, especially depending on how many people you have playing.
O-T-R-I-O, O-Trio.
O-Trio, O-T-R-I-O, yes.
Oh, Murphy can't stand board games. I'm the only child of a divorced mom, never had playmates in the house, never developed the patience for a game that long. Wow. Okay.
I know people, some of our close friends, they hate playing games. Like, I'm always like, let's have a game night. Let's have a game night. They're like, yeah, no. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, you don't want to play
Lori's like,
games?
it's only $6 more, get the wooden one. I mean,
yeah.
It
doesn't, yeah. I mean, I like the wooden one. That's the one I have. Either or, whichever one. It's a fun game. The Risk is a good game. I like Risk, the board game. The Game of Life is fun. I haven't played that one in forever, but the Game of Life is fun. All of them. There's another board game. I'm forgetting what it's called right now, but it's about budgeting money. So, but it's fun. It kind of creates a game out of that. So yeah, it's just board games. If you have favorites, let me know. We'll put it on the list and give people ideas of what to do over the holidays. Okay, I want to just take a little bit of time, if I can, and switch gears and talk a bit about Rosalynn Carter. She has passed away. She's a former First Lady, 96 years old. 96 years old. ABC7 did a nice kind of look back at her life that I wanted to play just a little bit. I mean, just a lady of class. And again, her very long marriage to former President Jimmy Carter is just a testament to their love and commitment to each other. Here we go.
Well-respected former First Lady and humanitarian.
I just want to say thank you.
A nation tonight giving thanks for Eleanor Rosalynn Smith Carter, the 39th First Lady of the United States.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
Mrs. Carter was her husband's most trusted advisor, most devoted cheerleader, his steel magnolia. With her gentle spirit, she broke barriers. The First Lady to have her own office in the East Wing. She hired policy staff and even carried a briefcase to work. Rosalynn had her own advocacy projects as well, carrying the torch for mental health, elderly care, and women's rights.
Peace means more than just the absence of war.
She was 18 when she married Jimmy Carter. He was 21, newly graduated from the United States Naval Academy. Together, they served the country all the way to the White House. When they returned to their humble home in Plains, Georgia, they continued to work and play side by side, still flirting with each other.
I'm going to talk a little bit about Jim, and he's not going to like it. I knew he had a good heart.
Married 77 years, they were global ambassadors for good. Jimmy Carter entered hospice care in February. In September, they made this last public appearance together. On Friday, Mrs. Carter went into hospice care. She passed 2 days later on Sunday afternoon. Together, they had 4 children, 12 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren. Both she and her husband received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1999. She authored 4 books. For Mrs. Carter, it wasn't about honors or glamour. It was about reading the Bible together with her husband every night until they no longer could.
When you look back, what are you most proud of?
In my entire life's experience, I would say it was marrying my wife, Rosalynn. She's been a very profound, beneficial factor in my entire existence and still is.
When I get so weepy watching that because it's just one of those marriages that you can only hope to have, right? And then when you hear how long they were married and how loving they were with each other to the very end, I just wanted to play that because it just really moved me. They're not only her work as a first lady, but just the example that they gave, building homes for Habitat for Humanity and everything like that. And again, I just can't imagine being married 77 years. Somebody mentioned earlier, like my parents weren't even alive 77 years, right? They were married 77 years and then not having that other person there. My heart breaks for Jimmy Carter right now. I can't, it makes me so sad for him that I can't imagine him lasting longer. And in all honesty, they should be together again. I don't mean that in a morbid or terrible way. It's just what I could wish for both of them is that they're together again. And so I'm getting all emotional. I'm just
look at you.
That it's so sweet.
Man.
I really do. I just think that it's such a sweet marriage. And yeah, so I don't know why I'm so emotional about it, but I am. But yeah, so that's Rosalynn
Somebody's
Carter.
gonna get her period soon. All I can say is
it just might be that time. I'm like, I don't know why I'm so weepy. But yeah, so rest in peace. And of course, the best. And then of course it's President Biden's birthday at 81. It's just like these people are getting so old. Stop laughing at me, woman. I swear to God, stop laughing at me. Anybody else crying with me? It's not just me. There should be a man in the audience over here. Come on.
I'm not crying that Rosalynn Carter has passed away. You're totally right. It's a sweet marriage. I'm just laughing. Yeah, specifically at you. That would be true. That would be pretty much.
Jesus Lord Almighty.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, they were
a lot of
great
comments
couples.
coming in.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Rosalynn
Saved me right
Carter had a life well lived. It's true. Someone, let me put this back on the screen. Vicky wrote, imagine what Rosalynn could have accomplished had women had any rights whatsoever back then. And it's interesting that you say that, Vicky, because I was watching this show on Apple TV. It is Lessons in Chemistry, I think is the name of it.
Yes, I'm loving that show on Apple TV. It is so good.
So good. But you see what women were up against in the 50s and 60s and how she wasn't allowed to be a chemist, which is who she was at her very core, was not allowed to do that, was not allowed to be successful and she had to push against it at every turn and accept a lot of discrimination along the way. Like, just, okay, here's what they're going to tell me. Here's how I know it's going to happen. Here's how I know it's going to be.
Right.
How can I get around it?
Exactly.
How can I, and maintain my sense of dignity and who I am? I don't know. It could be, Vicky, that Rosalynn Carter was happy to, you know, attach herself to Jimmy Carter and to be a power couple and to work together for everything. Because even he said, you know, everything I did, basically, she was there with me along the way.
Yeah.
She was as much a part of it as I was. So it may be that was what she wanted, or it may be that she had other aspirations. Who knows?
Yeah, and you also have to remember, you know, we have the benefit of hindsight, right? We have the benefit of knowing how far we've come as women, that, you know, Rosalynn Carter might not have had that, right? Every step that women took, you know, being able to vote, even being able to get a credit card, you know, getting a loan without their husband, those sorts of things. She came from a completely different generation.
That's right.
And so it's not as if she knew. She didn't know any different, right? So every step that she was making was a huge accomplishment. We don't even know what we don't know. I mean, I would say arguably the time that we live in, even though, you know, Roe v. Wade and what have you, notwithstanding, you know, the strides that we've made as women continues to move forward. And yet there's going to be a generation in front of us that's going to look back and be like, why did you put up with X, Y, and Z? Why did you why did you put up with, you know, income inequality, all these other sorts of things that we haven't been able to solve yet, right? That we haven't been able to kind of do that. Why weren't there enough of you on the U.S. Supreme Court? Why weren't there all of these questions, right, that we haven't been able to see answered yet? And so I would just kind of make sure that we understand how old she was. She was 96. You know how much history happened over her 96 years of life? The world has dramatically changed, and she saw it happen. And so, I totally, I think it must have been quite a time to be living in during all of those 96 years.
Nikki's going to cry again. It was
and
so
I'm not
touching.
Pregnant, Kim.
She died holding his hand. Yeah, that was really
I want to
sweet.
go. Now I'm going to start crying. I've told my husband that. I'm like, I'm like, you're coming with me.
Pregnant.
Yeah. If I was pregnant, I'd be getting a divorce. Let's just put it that way. Like my husband would be like, wait. What are you? No, I don't know. I just get weepy. Oh, Doug.
Now
I'm going to cry over Doug's $5.
She's going to cry. Here she goes again. Here come the waterworks.
I don't know why I'm so weepy. Shut it. But thank you, Doug. I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Doug. That was really, really nice of you. Grady says, how about For All Mankind on Apple? He said it's a great show about women in history.
Oh, okay. I'll give it a shot. You know what I did see, and it's a movie. It's not a series. Also on Apple TV is Fingernails. Anybody see that? Yes, Laura, you did. Lessons in Chemistry. That was a good one. Fingernails is with Jeremy Allen, who was in The Bear. I don't know if you guys watched that show, the chef show, Bear. It's about, it's kind of brutal. It's about this clinic that's able to tell you under no uncertain terms if you're in love with your partner by ripping out your fingernails and testing them.
What? No, thanks.
But people do they want to know under with 100% certainty. It'll tell you. So what they do is you go through this whole kind of class thing, and then at the end of it, you do all these tests, and how well do you know each other? Are you looking at all these things? And then at the end, it's the test, and they pull out your fingernail and they put it in this machine, and it tells you if you're in love with each other. And then people that have been married will go take this test, rip out their fingernails, and then it'll say 0% in love, and then they'll get divorced. So.
Okay, that's just weird.
It's a weird.
And who thought of that?
Story.
Who even thought of it?
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't bored. I wasn't bored watching it. But it really was. It was really weird. And there's a scene where they keep ripping out fingernails, and then they're ripping out their own fingernails. It was. I mean, it's not graphic, but yeah, they're ripping out fingernails. Yeah.
I think we can do without that.
It's not your average love story is all I'm going to say.
No, thank you.
All right. 6 in 10 people are hoping to avoid talking about politics this Thanksgiving. How many of you have rules for that?
Wait, I've demeaned you. Have I demeaned you?
Oh, what is this? Mary says, Kim, your comment about Nikki and the reason she's emotional is demeaning. Women can be emotional not just because they're having their period. Learn from lessons in chemistry. True, Mary. Very true. I could just be a sap. You know what? And I am, actually. I'm very sappy. Yeah. See, Kim? I'm waiting.
Sorry for demeaning you. My.
No, the truth of the matter is I'm a weepy person. And I'm not saying that in a demeaning way to myself. I do. I like to feel things. You guys, I know I tell you this all of the time. If I watch, for instance, a movie or a commercial or a news report or something like that, and I feel something, I like being emotional. I do. I hands down, I like being scared. I like laughing my butt off, and I like crying. I do. I love emotions. It's fine. And your apology is accepted, demeanor. Okay.
For me, usually like if I'm, and I'm also emotional, but if I'm crying at something or having a reaction that I normally wouldn't have,
right,
then yeah, that means somebody's coming around the corner.
The truth is, it doesn't matter what time of month it is, I probably would have cried. I don't know why. I find love stories like that, just real love stories. Like really, like when Jimmy was talking about like what he was most proud of, I'm going to get emotional again. And he said his marriage. I'm just like, that is so sweet. I don't care that I'm getting emotional. I don't. Okay, let's do some headlines so I can get myself together. And then we're going to talk about politics. My husband showed me this really funny meme yesterday, and it's all, this is what it said. It said, "Are racist people like, ugh, my open-minded uncle is going to be at Thanksgiving this year." Like, do you have rules for the Thanksgiving table? And is there something you do during this time of year to give back? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is a lot of people like to give their time to charity. Maybe they give food out, they distribute food or whatever. That's great. And I think that's awesome, right? But what if you make your living doing kind things? Should you be criticized for it? Well, there's this YouTuber, and we've talked about him before, called Mr. Beast. One, he did something completely crazy that I'll touch on. And two, apparently he was being canceled because of his kindness. And at a time like this time of year especially, should people be criticized for posting on social media the good deeds that they do for others, especially at this time of year? All right, so let me know what you think about that. We'll talk about that and so much more after Kim's headlines.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Look at you wiping away your tears. I'm Kim McAllister. This is the Nikki Medoro Show, and let's start this time around with negotiators potentially closing in on a deal to release some hostages. This is day 45 of the Israel-Hamas war. This comes after intense fighting around another hospital in northern Gaza as Israeli forces expand their assault there. On Sunday, 31 premature babies had to be evacuated from that hospital. Hundreds of staff and patients, though, still remain inside of it. There is a celebration of life set to be held in Georgia next week for former First Lady Rosalynn Carter. She passed away at the age of 96 Sunday after being diagnosed with dementia in March. A private funeral service will be held November 29th at the Carter family residence in Plains, Georgia. A storm in the Midwest causing headaches for millions of Thanksgiving travelers. We know this is one of the big travel days. According to FlightAware, more than 1,000 flights delayed within, into, or out of the United States today. Forecasters say heavy thunderstorms are moving into the Central Plains and bringing rain to parts of Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi as well. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin reaffirming U.S. support for Ukraine in its war with Russia. Austin met with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky today during an unannounced visit to Kyiv. Austin saying the United States will continue to support Ukraine's urgent battlefield needs and long-term defense requirements as well. Tiger Woods will play in his first golf tournament in the last 7 months. Woods is committed to playing in the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas. We hate to see him going somewhere so sad.
Exactly
Starting
right.
November 30th, he was forced to withdraw from the Masters in April after suffering constant pain due to an ankle injury that resulted in surgery in May. So The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, dominated the weekend box office with an estimated $44 million. Trolls Band Together finished second with $30.6 million. Last week's top film, The Marvels, is in a virtual tie with the Sony debut Thanksgiving, as both come in at $10.2 million.
I want to see Thanksgiving, which is the horror Thanksgiving movie. Trolls, my kids really wanted to watch, but we decided to see Hunger Games when we went to San Francisco, like I mentioned earlier. It is really good. It's long, but it's really good. And I've never been to the Metreon in San Francisco. If any of you have been there, we saw it on IMAX. So it was gigantic and it was huge. And I thought it was really well done. I know it got a little bit of mixed reviews, but I thought it was pretty good. So if you like the Hunger Games, you can go see that. Say hi, Maggie.
Little local Bay Area news, a public health advisory is over in Contra Costa County. Officials issued it early yesterday morning due to a fire at Marathon's Martinez Renewables fuel refinery. A hazmat team was on the scene to monitor for dangerous materials in the air. Crews had the fire under control really quickly. They gave the all clear to Martinez, Pacheco, Concord, and Clyde. Meantime, the DA has issued a civil enforcement action against the refinery for a series of frequent chemical releases. Yeah.
It's awful out there. I know somebody that lives by that refinery, and every single time they're in the news, I'm like, don't be breathed. But it's I'm not going to make a whole generalization about that area because nowhere is cheap in the Bay Area. But, obviously housing prices are different in areas near the refinery. But there's also the risk to your health. So you have to keep that in mind.
This story makes me nervous, so I'm going to knock on all the wood in my office. This year's wildfire season is over in the North Bay.
Yeah, buddy.
That's quite a declaration, but the Santa Rosa Fire Department declared that after the city was drenched over the weekend. The latest storm made for dangerous driving, cut some events short, but also reduced the danger for wildfires. Crews say they are ready to transition back to wildland preparedness if the warmer temperatures do end up moving back in.
No, thank you. We like no wildfire danger. That's what we like.
Video is out of thieves stealing cars at a dealership in Hayward. It shows them breaking into City Motors yesterday morning and driving off with 4 vehicles worth more than $100,000. Over one even leaves the showroom through the front of the building. The general manager says the thieves also took the keys to every other car on the lot.
Wow.
So they could just come back whenever they want and take whatever they need, right?
Do you know how much of an S show it's going to be to try to make sure that the ignition keys don't work anymore? Because I'm assuming they're fobs, right? So you have to reprogram all these different things.
I mean, I guess they need to keep that stuff in a safe. I don't know. The general manager is now worried about the threat of repeat robbery. It says it's been happening all over the Bay Area.
Crazy.
The head of San Francisco's driverless car company Cruise is stepping down. CEO Kyle Vogt resigned last night. He shared the news on social media, saying he wants to spend time with his family and explore new ideas. Also, your company sucks. This follows a voluntary recall of 950 robotaxis and a decision by the DMV to suspend testing permits over safety concerns. The company took its entire fleet off the streets, including those with a safety driver behind the wheel. It all goes. It's no good. No bueno.
Yeah. I mean, between that and the AI, Sam Altman leaving ChatGPT and going to Microsoft, it's a crazy weekend for people being laid off and moving companies and all sorts of things.
Guess what? More than 300,000 drivers are waking up thankful that they can head out onto the freeway again, a major freeway in Los Angeles. Thank God the freeway is open. I'm so thankful. I can drive to work problem free.
Well, there was quite a pause. You're like 300,000 drivers woke up. That's good. They didn't die.
A major freeway in Los Angeles reopening just in time for the morning commute and before the busy holiday travel season. They thought this was going to take months.
Yes.
And they had it reopen within days. Traffic was moving again on all lanes of I-10 last night, weeks ahead of schedule, 8 days after being damaged in a fire. Governor Gavin Newsom thanking the tireless work of Caltrans and construction crews, saying the expedited repair is proof that a point of pride that here in California, we deliver. He
We
gave
deliver.
the gave the update alongside Vice President Kamala Harris, who called the work extraordinary.
Yeah, they needed to. I mean, it was a crisis. I mean, especially this week. How many people are going to be using that freeway? Right?
lot.
I'm glad they were able to do it. I still maintain. I want more details about the damage. You know, like you guys were saying it was going to take so long, and then it was going to only take days, and then it came out even earlier. Was who initially assessed the damage? You know, I don't know, but I'm glad that it's opened.
A firefighter has minor injuries after battling a fire at a commercial building in Santa Rosa. This was reported late yesterday near the Joe Redota Trail, which is where a lot of homeless people set up camp. Firefighters tried to stop the flames from destroying a wood-framed steel barn that was being used to house cars and RVs. They had to back off, though, after some power lines came down. The cause of the fire, which did about $200,000 in damage, is still being investigated, and the firefighter is being treated for injuries in the North Bay. Let's talk about Osborne. Sharon Osborne says she's lost 42 pounds taking Ozempic. Ozempic is a drug developed for treatment of type 2 diabetes. And while the weight loss effects of the drug are noted, the wife of rock icon Ozzy Osbourne, and really a talk show host in her own right?
Yeah. She used to be on The View, right?
Told the Daily Mail she can't put any weight back on and is becoming gaunt now.
Yeah, have you seen her? She's only like 5'2", and her, sorry if you hear whimpering, Nugget is losing his mind for some reason. So she's only 5'2". I think she's below 100 pounds, and she can't put the weight back on. So she's getting, the hollow cheeks.
Right.
I mean, I'm 5'1". I think that when I was in 8th grade, I was probably under 100 pounds. You know what I mean? But I would say, a healthy weight for somebody our height is between 100 and 140, depending on your body size, right? Like, how you carry it. You could be really skinny or you could be more buxom, I guess. But she is skinny. Like, I saw pictures of her, and she wears kind of, at least the outfit that I saw her in, kind of these baggy slacks. But maybe they weren't supposed to be baggy. I have no idea. But I totally get what she's saying. And yeah, she can't seem to put the weight back on, even though she stopped taking it. She's like, I'm not even taking it anymore. And I'm having a hard time putting the weight back on.
Well, she's warning people not to give this drug to teenagers because she says it would be very easy to become addicted to the weight loss.
Absolutely. I mean, I would... And I don't know if your teenager has diabetes that can be managed with this sort of drug. I'm not talking about you. I am talking about, people that are just doing this because they want to lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, whatever. I think Sharon's basically saying, look, just try to lose it another way. This is for more extreme cases, and teenagers, they'll go crazy with it. If you have body image issues, heck yeah.
I can't even imagine. I mean, no, that has the power to be so awful.
Yeah, and like Chris is saying, eat more. I think, and I could be wrong because I don't have any experience with Ozempic, but it reduces your desire to eat. It starts with nausea, and then I think your body just kind of habitually doesn't want to eat that much anymore. And so it's not as if you could just shove food down if you're not hungry, you might have that feeling like I don't want to eat, and so you don't. It's scary.
Yeah. It's what's scary is that she can't put any of that weight back on. Oh, poor Nugget.
No, he wants the rest of my Danish, Kim. Do not feel sorry for this dog. This dog, like, it's right here, the rest of my Danish. And he's literally just sitting there. He's like, are you going to give me the Danish? And I say, no,
I'm
you are not getting the Danish. He just is eyeballing it.
Lastly, let's talk about Miss Nicaragua. She is the winner of the 2023 Miss Universe pageant. Miss Nicaragua, her name is Shanice Palacios, and she was crowned Miss Universe Saturday night at the pageant in El Salvador. Miss Thailand, Antonia Porslid, was named first runner-up. Mariah Wilson of Australia, second runner-up. Pageant winners from 84 countries competed in this year's Miss Universe contest. This year's swimsuit round included the first curvy contestant, Miss Nepal, and the first contestant to choose a burkini as her swimsuit, Miss Pakistan.
Hold on. I'm looking up Miss Nepal. Let's see what curvy is. Oh, she is curvy. Okay.
All right.
Hold on.
Are you going to show me a picture?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get it up. I mean, yeah, definitely. Hold on. Let me just save it so we can get a good... But I mean, because when you said the first curvy, I'm like, what what is curvy to, these pageants. But here she is, and this is Miss Nepal. Let me bring up the picture for you. Now, I think that it's good to have people of different body sizes. At the same time, do you think that we're going to see more like Mrs. Nepal? Hold on, of course. Here we go.
Wow.
Definitely curvy.
I think she looks great.
I mean, I like her. I think she looks great. I think that we need more of this. This is how women look, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, this is how women, not children, not teenagers acting like they're older, right? Women look. You know what her face kind of reminds me of on the right? That picture is Hargitay, that from SVU.
Mariska Hargitay?
Yeah, kind of looks a little bit like her in the picture on the right. But yeah, I think she's beautiful, and I'm glad that they were able to do that. Okay.
Here's Miss Pakistan in her burkini.
Oh, that's pretty. That's really pretty.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean,
it looks more like an evening gown than it does a swimsuit, but hey, whatever floats your...
I mean, I don't know how much swimming I'd want to do in something like that. I wonder what the material is. I mean, because I wouldn't want to feel like I'm drowning, right? It's like why you don't wear shoes when you swim. It's because they get filled up with water, and then you can't swim very well.
It's a swimming costume that covers the whole body except the face, hands, and feet, which is considered suitable to wear by Muslim women.
Yeah.
They say a burkini is a combination of a burqa and a bikini.
Where's the bikini part?
The burqa is the loose outer garment worn in public by some women. Yeah, we know that. I'm trying to figure out what it's made out of.
I would hope it's some sort of lightweight material. Now let's go back to Mrs. Nepal or Miss Nepal.
Mm-hmm.
Nugget, you're not getting my donation. You could just stop right now. John says curvy, pleasantly plump. I would say both. Karen says she looks great, but does this set a healthy example? Compared to what? I think that healthy example, I think, is a loaded term, Karen. And I'm not kind of calling you out, but just because somebody's skinny doesn't mean they're healthy, right? So we can't make a complete judgment about whether she's healthy based on her body. Lori says she's overweight. I don't know how tall she is, but I don't know. I think she looks good. I mean, I don't know. Rubenesque, nice ding word right there. Randy says healthy is defined how? Yeah, how do you define healthy? It's a good question. I do think that this can lead to more acceptance for how most women look. Women are not stick figures.
She might be able to outrun most people.
Exactly.
We don't know.
Who cares? And she's also, been able to do these pageants to make it all the way up to Miss Universe. So I'm sure, I don't know. I think she looks great.
I will say that she's the first, quote, curvy contestant. It means that she's sitting there. I don't know how many, was it 80? I think it was 80 people, the story said. I'm not sure how many contestants there were, but she's in a group of women where she's the, as you say, most pleasantly plump of them all.
Right.
And that can't be easy because that thing where you compare yourself to other people.
Oh, yeah, body image and all that kind of stuff.
Totally, that's so hard. So there she is. What confidence it took to put herself in a swimsuit out there with all those very thin, beautiful women.
Yes.
Not
and I'm glad they got rid of the bikini requirement. You know what I mean? Like, not saying, you can wear a bikini and have stuff hanging over it. It doesn't, rock it, confidence, baby, confidence. But yeah, I can't even imagine being in a beauty pageant. I would never subject myself to that because just what you were talking about, I can't handle, I feel like I'm a confident person, but even I'd probably lose the confidence walking around in high heels in a swimsuit. Like, Jesus. So no.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
That's the news.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it, people. We're done.
We do appreciate all the ways you support the show. Find us at thenikkimedoroshow.com. Thenikkimedoroshow.com is where the Patreon and the PayPal links are. Links to other things there as well. So our big thanks to everyone who helps us with the show. We really, really appreciate it. I'm Kim McAllister, and this is The Nikki Medoro Show.
All right, so let's give Nugget just a little bite. because he's not going to go away.
You are such a cave-in.
I know, but he's just too cute. Darn it. Okay, here. Come up. Everybody
So
wants to see.
if he was ugly, he wouldn't be getting a
No,
bite.
baby, here. Up. There we go. Say hi. Now go away. I
He's
love
like,
you.
I'm not saying hi. I'm just eating here.
No, that's it. Beat it. Beat it. I love you, dog. Beat it. That's your sweet treat for the day. He's going to stay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit as we wrap up the show with what we expect at the Thanksgiving table. So 6 and 10, and I'm surprised it's only 6 and 10. 60% of people say they would rather not talk about politics over the holiday week. Just 29% of people said they're looking forward to talking about politics with friends and family. Who are these people? And let me make sure that I do not go to you like talking about politics at the holiday table? No.
We all agree. We all agree about politics.
No,
It's
well,
great.
that's okay. Yeah. If you all agree.
Sometimes my uncle will get kind of just he takes the other side just cuz. We all know that he doesn't really mean it, but he'll sometimes just kind of stir up the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
He is was a columnist and an opinion editor at the Marin IJ for a long, long time. So it's always interesting to talk politics with him.
Right.
Most of my family, it's a great conversation. Now, if I'm up at my dad's house for Thanksgiving, last time we were talking about critical race theory.
Okay.
And he told me that people were trying to brainwash my kids. We had a problem. So he said, let's just not talk about it. After I told him, do you know what that really means? Let's discuss.
Yeah,
and he's like,
yeah.
let's just not talk about it. Like he wanted to maintain his own thought and not have a discussion on it. Sometimes people get like that. That's fine. And so I didn't push it. But yeah, I love talking politics. Absolutely.
No. I mean, it's because, in all honesty, I can't talk about politics at my dinner table with my father because we're complete polar opposites politically. And it's not fun. And even if I do agree, I don't want to debate it. I feel like I have this show and we talk about it all the time here. You know, I'd rather, like we were talking about earlier, I'd rather play games. I'd rather share the same stories that we've been sharing for decades. You know, I would rather do something like that than to sit around and talk about politics.
The state of the world.
There's just something about taking a special time of year and just adding what I can only describe. And I'm not saying that, you know, we don't live in important times and these aren't serious issues. I'm not trying to negate that or reduce the importance of it. But at the same time, we are souls wrapped in a meat suit spinning a million miles per hour in outer space. Can we just keep it in reality and just enjoy our time on this planet together for just a little bit amount of time, right? Like that's kind of how I see it. And I just want to enjoy myself. I don't want to.
What did you say we're wrapped in? We're souls wrapped in a meat what?
A meat suit.
A meat suit.
Sitting on a rock, spinning a million miles per hour in outer space, right? Like, let's keep it together here. All the problems that we have, let's keep it in perspective.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
And yeah, so Harry's like, I'd rather talk about the Niners. You know what, Harry? I would rather talk about the Niners. And I think that it's a load of BS that we have a short week on Thanksgiving up against a division rival. My heart palpitations on Thursday. I'm just letting you know. Do you know that we have the night game Thursday and I think Christmas as well? So we are like the holiday game. So that's just my little Niner. Amazing game yesterday.
Oh, didn't you say you were going to talk about the game? You said
the game was amazing. Brock Purdy, perfect game. The last time it happened was with Joe Montana. And everybody's making comparisons.
What
Brock
do you mean
Purdy's
perfect
good.
Game?
He didn't throw any interceptions and he made all of his passes.
Huh?
And that I think you have to make at least 15 attempts. So, you know what I mean? To start being in that category. And every attempt that he made, and he had no interception. So it was a perfect game. Perfect game for Brock. And he, of course, attributed it to his team because he's selfless like that.
I try to stay abreast of the 49ers because of you. And I was reading in SF Gate that I was reading in SF Gate that he celebrated the longest touchdown of his NFL career.
Oh, yeah. I think I could be wrong. Was it like on the second yard? I don't know. It was a very long one. Yeah. It was a very long touchdown. He played an excellent game. The Niners played an excellent game, but it was a very physical game. We lost
It was
Funga probably with an ACL tear, I think, which didn't look good. So he was like on our D, which sucks. Did anybody else get injured? I don't know, but we play a very physical game. We were actually talking about that last night too, that every team that we've lost to, I think this is the statistic. Every team we've lost to, the next game that team lost because we're so physical. And they're like, they're in pain, basically. It's not an easy thing to beat us. And everybody that has lost their next game. The NFL is full of statistics. Okay. So you can find a statistic for anything, but that was one of them. But again, we have a very short week. We just played yesterday, and now we're playing on Thanksgiving to a division rival. And not just any division rival. It's not like we're playing the friggin' Rams over here or the Cardinals. We're playing the Seahawks. And then we're playing somebody else, and we're playing the Seahawks again. So not very happy about it. But we got to get through it. We got to make these wins if we're going to make it to the big game. Okay, so let's talk also about this time of year being a time when people give back, right? So if you're going to feed the hungry or you're going to make a charitable donation to something, it's a very popular time. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just like everybody else. You look for ways to give back. People want to have a holiday dinner. They want to make big charity donations. It's also the end of the year for tax time. Let's just be honest. That's why a lot of other people do it. But do you have a problem with people posting their charitable work on social media? Do you think that it negates some of the giving if somebody says to the rest of the world, I did this?
Yes.
So you look, so if for instance, Kim, I went to a food kitchen and I'm feeding the homeless and I took a picture and I posted it on Facebook, you'd be like, ugh.
So are you posting the picture with a caption saying, hey,
hey,
such and such food bank really needs volunteers right now, or we're running out of pumpkin pies, or we really need donations of bread, or whatever it is. Are you posting it to try to bring more help or assistance to that place and more attention and focus there?
Right.
Or are you posting it saying, oh, the kids and I went to help on Thanksgiving, and then post pictures of your kids smiling, serving mashed potatoes.
Yes.
I mean, that's more of a like,
Yucky.
aren't we great?
Yes.
Look at us go.
Yes.
What are the real reasons you're helping people? Is it truly altruistic, or are you just doing it because you feel like, you want people to think that you're doing good things in the world? Or if you really wanted to do good things in the world, you wouldn't need the public to take note. You would just do them quietly and move on.
Knit One says, trying to do good always seems to bite me back.
Oh,
but
no.
yes, too many people want to show attention to themselves. I'm sorry that happens to you. I'm not quite sure exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I think the first example you gave, if you're trying to so for instance, if I was out there and before I went out there, I went on this show and said, hey, I'm going to do this for charity. If you guys want to join me or donate, here it is, because I'm using my platform to elevate it. That's one thing. But if I'm out there just being like, cheese, with like the homeless person behind me and I'm just smiling, saying, doing God's work at the local food shelter, like, I just feel like it's a little more about me than helping people. But either way, it's okay. Now, the reason I bring this up isn't just because people do this. There is this man by the name of Jimmy Donaldson, but most people know him as Mr. Beast. He's a YouTuber. He is extremely rich from doing basically what we're talking about, which is philanthropy. He has made a lot of money. And sometimes he just does these extreme feats, and that's how he kind of started. But he's also done amazing things. So he got a lot of backlash actually when he went, I think it was Kenya, and he helped fund construction of 100 wells to provide clean drinking water to 500,000 people. Okay. Apparently people were getting all upset about it because they think that it's this kind of white savior complex type of thing where, oh, look at white man coming into Africa, doing all this good. But that doesn't bother me at all in the same way it does if somebody takes a snapshot at a food bank when they're donating food. It doesn't seem to be the same unless I'm missing something. Like even if he does make a lot of, gets a lot of YouTube views and a lot of people on his channel. And that, of course, brings money through ads and things like that. Even if he gets that, does it matter if the good that he's doing is so amazing? Like, he's bringing clean drinking water to people that don't have it. That, to me, seems to override any sort of criticism. Now, one of the primary points of contention, for instance, with the wells in Africa, it overshadowed the long-standing efforts of local organizations and activists who have been working, all the time for this. So there's one woman by the name, I don't know if it's a woman, but a person, the founder of Face Africa, expressing a mix of frustration and understanding, saying, I've been doing this for 15 years, but we've been struggling to continue the work because of funding, awareness, and advocacy. Overnight, this person comes along, Mr. Beast, who happens to be a white male figure with a huge platform. And all of a sudden, he gets all of the attention. It's kind of frustrating, but it's also understanding the nature of how the world is. And, I get it. It would suck to spend 15 years of my life trying, for instance, to construct these wells, trying to get funding, trying to just get $1 from people to donate. And then all of a sudden, this dude walks in with a huge platform. He's like, I could do it. And it takes me a day. And look what I've done. And then everyone is praising him versus the people that have been there day in, day out for years and years and years.
I mean, is it Mr. Beast's fault that he has millions of followers?
No. Well, I mean, it's his doing. It's his hard work, right? I mean,
well, yeah, but I mean, it's not, you can't blame someone for getting the attention when they're actually coming in and helping you out. And I would say, if I'm the person that's running the charity, I'm thinking, thank God he focused on us.
Yes. Thank you. I mean, absolutely great point, Kim. It's as if, at least, if someone is going to turn their philanthropic eye towards something, I'd be grateful that it's to my charity or to the work that I'm doing. Yeah. And while on one hand, yes, he does seem to get a lot of the accolades, I also, on the other hand, can't imagine that the people that have been doing this for 15 years are doing it for accolades, right? So it's not as if you're doing it just for the attention.
They're doing it because they're passionate about it. And so if they're passionate about it, they don't care how how this stuff is getting done, right? They don't care that somebody swoops in and then all of a sudden things are so much better than they were the day before.
Yeah.
They're looking at what their life's work is and what their passion project is, thinking, this is amazing. Look at what happened to us. This is great.
Although he has been doing quite a bit of dangerous things in order to keep up his platform. First off, do you know how much he makes every month just in ad revenue, Mr. Beast?
From YouTube?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say, is it in the millions?
It's in the millions. A month. Wow. $3 to $5 million.
Wow.
A month. Now, I'm just going to play this real quick.
We get like 32 cents.
I know, exactly. Hey, we're trying. He's been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
But watch this. This is his latest thing. Now, this has nothing to do with philanthropy. All right. But this is the type of stuff that he does that keeps him popular.
7 days buried alive under 20,000 pounds of dirt.
I don't know. I'm doing this thing where I'm crying, and I'm not 100% sure why I'm crying.
Maybe you're getting your period.
I think so. I was going to say. I want Mary to get mad, though.
He got claustrophobic. He cried a few times. He was buried alive for 7 days. And then he posted it on YouTube. And so people watch it. And so that's what he's doing. Apparently it was fine. He beat the record. I guess the previous record was someone being buried alive for 50 hours.
Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
For $3 to $5 million a month in ad revenue, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
God.
You know what I mean? Like, I could not do that. I don't know if I could. Is there any sort of, kind of trick or whatever the heck you want to call it? It reminds me of David Blaine. Remember when he was like in that box for a month or however long? And I was like, that's not magic. That's just, mind over matter. Can I sit in this or sit underwater or do whatever and not be bored, achy, something like that? I would not want to be buried alive. I'm not claustrophobic, but I don't like small spaces like that, especially for an extended period of time, or having to lay down like that. You know, like I feel like my back would start hurting, my legs would start hurting. I wouldn't want to do any of it. But if he gets that much money and he's using it and spending it on, helping others, I don't knock him. I absolutely don't. It's a free country. You could do whatever you want. And that's the great thing about it, right? So I don't think we should be hating or trying to cancel people that do that. If he brings attention to places like Africa and other needs, then more power to him. As long as he's not hurting anybody, I don't see what the problem is. Luis says Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters helped pay out the staff of his favorite Mexican restaurant near his home in San Fernando Valley during COVID. It just seemed cooler to hear it from the owner rather than the internet. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Beast also bought apparently a whole block, bought out the mortgages of a whole neighborhood so that everybody in that neighborhood could live in the lap of luxury, I guess, without a mortgage. I mean, going back to like the lottery and that guy that won over $1 billion, like these are the things you could do when you have a boatload of money, right? Yeah. You could just hoard it all, or you can just be the coolest guy on the block. So, that's pretty cool. All right. One more video before we end the show. And this is speaking of being in a free country and one of my favorite comedians, Bill Burr. I think we mentioned this last week. Bill Burr, I think he was at that MMA fight and he was sitting next to his wife. And maybe I didn't get to it. And his wife and Donald Trump showed up and his wife flipped off Donald Trump and they didn't realize Trump didn't see it because he was looking this way and Bill Burr and his wife were sitting on the other side of him and his wife flipped off Trump and it got caught on camera. And so everybody, all the headlines from it is Bill Burr's wife gives the 2-finger salute or the 1-finger salute twice to former President Trump. Well, here is Bill Burr talking about his wife. And I love it because I would be the wife, right? I'd be like, screw you, dude. I would totally do that.
You know what? More people should be angry against what Donald Trump did to America. More people, he should be shunned, publicly shunned.
Thank you. But again, Bill Burr makes a good point about what's the problem, MAGA. Oh, here's.
Back and start crying.
Bill Burr here on the Rich Eisen Show. I love
That's like those Trump guys. They're always going like, you snowflakes, F your feelings and all of that. And then you make fun of Trump. They're like, oh my God, it's so disrespectful. It's like you're saying F Joe Biden. It's like you can't have it both ways. Nope. So that's my thing as a Pats fan, okay? Yes. It's just like if you're doing it too, quit your crying.
Yep.
Quit your crying. I mean,
How's your wife's hands doing these days?
Oh, they're fantastic. I love my wife. You know where you stand with her. Okay? The guy walked in the arena. Everybody cheered. She gave him the finger. Nobody got arrested. That's why this country's great. Everybody expressed themselves. Can we all be adults? I mean, I don't know about you, but I came there to go to the fights. I didn't know I was going to the Republican National Convention. My favorite thing was when Trump was going, thank you. Thank you. You know what it reminded me of? When OJ got acquitted. Remember that? When he's going, thank you. Like, I can't believe I'm getting off of this. Thank you. Thank you.
So that's Bill Burr. And he makes an excellent point. MAGAs, you cannot complain about crap at all. But Bill Burr is hilarious if you ever watch any stand-up. Okay, that's our show. Stay here for the Mark Thompson and the After Party Live. I do want to give some thank yous to Calvin. Very generous today, Calvin. $51.50, $51.50 for the next family meal in the South Bay. Thank you. Doug, also thank you for always coming through with the super stickers. $5 super sticker as well. You guys can donate to the super chat, even if you watch on the replay, which many of you guys do. Just look for the $sign under the live chat box. Also, you guys make sure that you have clicked the thumbs up button. It really helps us expand our reach on this here YouTube. And then why not, before the year is out, become an official Medorable. Just go to thenikkimedoroshow.com, thenikkimedoroshow.com. You could sign up for whatever you can afford. If you're already a Medorable, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you can afford a little bit more each month, please, we would appreciate it so very much because this is 100% crowd funded. We cannot keep going on without your donations. We're not Mr. Beast or the lottery winner. We're just, some YouTubers who really love spending the day with you.
Really too bad because if we won the lottery, we could do some great things with it.
Absolutely. We would have a lot of fun doing it, wouldn't we? You could also PayPal us. The email, just go to paypal.com hit the send button and put in this email address, the Nikki Medoro Show @gmail.com. The merch shop is up there. I also have my link tree up with some of my favorite things, and go there if you're. I put new stuff up over the weekend. Just you can find it on my socials, and there it is as well. And if there's anything that you want me to add, I'll put it up there as well. All right, you guys, we will be back tomorrow. Take care of each other. Stay right here for Mark Thompson and then the after party with Kim and John Daly. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.